Hey everybody.
Hi everyone. Hi. So today I'm going with Richard. We are going to share about Petalz program in Fugee School,
Yeah.
where we work with refugee teenagers to bring their story to life. So to start off, I would like to ask Richard, how does this program come about?
Okay, so we are from Petalz, and we actually provide a program. We actually provide a program to our customers to help them create books, right? To talk about their stories, but now we are bringing that program to refugees at Fugee School, and it initially came about when we wanted to document the lives of refugees. I initially went to UNHCR. To get into UNHCR is kind of tricky because a lot of there were a lot of security guards there with machine guns and stuff in order for me to meet the head of UNHCR.
Right.
But the initial meeting didn't crystallize because I think they were too busy. And then came Fugee School. It was a nice meeting. I went there and found out a lot about Fugee School and found out they're interested in the program. And it took some time for us to bring that program to them, and we did.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're closing that program today, ending it with a reading, which will be happening soon.
Yeah. Yeah, so how I came on board on this project is like when I heard that Richard is working with refugee children to create stories.
Yeah.
That sounds very interesting and meaningful because personally, I think that story helps us to give meaning to life. And I would like to know like what's their story? What's story with these refugee children?
Yeah. And a lot of the stories that are very moving. Like, what are the things that moved you when you were actually writing their stories in paper?
Yeah, so before I joined the program, I was actually a bit nervous because I felt I never really worked with children or teenagers before, and because of their identity and their background, and it's quite delicate. Yeah, so I was a bit worried that it might be difficult to work with them, but I was so surprised because all the teenagers we met in Fugee School, they're very confident.
Yeah.
And they never look down at themselves. They look back at their story and they actually they give a very positive meanings to their story.
Yeah.
That's what I love working about them because like you heard about some horrible thing from these very, very beautiful people, and from their story, they learn so much from it, they grow so much from it, and despite all this difficult past, they actually have very positive outlook for their future.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like is the highlight of this program and what I learned from them.
Yeah.
How about you, Richard? What's your experience working with them?
Because the Petalz program cuts across children, teenagers, and adults. Even until today, stories is it's the same for across all age groups. When we brought this to the refugees and they tell their story, it was so moving and interesting to some extent that their stories may look and sound happy, but there is a history behind it. And for us as facilitators, we had the pleasure of and the honor to actually experience their stories from them and to go through it with them and to explore it with them, and we're moved by it a lot. I was personally moved by it, and I think it's one of those experiences that makes my life worthwhile.
So we heard about story about bullets. About fleeing from countries to countries. It was quite horrible. It's like I couldn't imagine what happened. What would happen to me is like if I go through that. But when I see them, like the face that tell that story with so much of positivity, so much of confidence, it was really moving. And I felt like we are doing something very meaningful there to bring, because like we are giving them a voice to tell their story and share it with people. There
was one story also which was quite moving because one of the participants, a mother actually brought her out of the country, and her mother got shot, right? And eventually it took them around 6 or 7 days to get out of the country, and at the end she told me that her mother never got any medical support, didn't go to hospital, and was like literally wounded but managed to save her. And now she's here in Malaysia, and she's doing very well, and she has very high aspirations, to become a doctor. And it was very moving to see that spirit in them. That struggle, but yet with that strength and positivity to move on is super moving. And we could see it in the books, in the stories that they tell, even at the artworks, which is right behind.
We put it here for you guys to see.
Yeah, these are just some of the artworks they've created for their books. Like here, there's another one here. So all of these artworks, including their write-ups about your stories, will all be compiled into a book, and there'll be a reading session which will be happening very soon. Yeah.
So basically what we do with the program that we conduct in Fugee School is similar with our Stories by Creators program, where we work with the refugee teenagers to conceptualize, to write their stories, and then to teach them to narrate their story, and then also to prep them up to do a public event, which will happen on 7th of April, where they will do a public reading. And where you can join us as well. So throughout this process, do you find any difficult part, any challenges?
What, to arrange the program?
Arrange the program, or just to conduct this, to make this happen.
I think one of the main challenges was to actually to bring Petalz and the program into their world. Right. I mean, I had to go to UNHCR, and then eventually, thank God, I found Fugee School. I met the founders, and they are so welcoming, and they decided to bring us in to run the program together. So it's just not Isabel and I running it, because there were so many of them. There were like 12 to 13 of them. Isabel and I can't handle so many people. So we brought in Olivia, my wife. And Philo, which is a good friend of ours. So it's 4 of us together doing this great work and great initiative from my point of view to help them carve out a story and narrate it so that they have a voice to share with the world.
So another thing I learned from these kids are also that they never give up. Not giving up and keep going is so important, because I feel like a lot of us, we are so comfortable with life, and when we hit some bumps, some little bumps, we are like, I can't do this, and sometimes we don't even try to solve the problem. But for these kids, right, writing in English is not their first language, and then sketching, maybe it's not something they are comfortable doing as well, but they try, they Google images and how to draw, and how to turn their story into images. And I find it it's very nice to see that, and it's very inspiring as well, because all these people, they come from underprivileged condition, and yet they never complain, and they just keep trying. So there's some beautiful. It's a beautiful experience with these people.
And it's a good point that you brought up. I mean, entrepreneurial spirit doesn't just cut across people who want to start a business. As far as we know, it's a philosophy and a mindset. They have it. They are striving in their lives, and they're pushing themselves to grow, to move forward, and it's that kind of spirit and that drives us and makes us, that impacts us a lot, and we can see it in Fugee School. Right.
All right.
So you want to tell us a little bit of our program, our plans for Petalz, and when the Fugee School reading will happen?
So Fugee School reading is going to happen on 7th of April. Is next Saturday, from 10 p.m. 10 in the morning to 12 p.m. So please join us to listen to all these wonderful stories and meet these beautiful people. And you can buy their books on the spot. And just be here with us. To support them, to just listen to these people, their stories.
Some of their sponsors who sponsored them to go on our program, they'll be there also. So you get to meet other people with like-mindedness and with a good heart. They'll all be there. So we're gonna expect a big group. And we are also opening up to public. If you want to join us and meet us, please do. Please do.
And then for our Stories by Creators program, next month we are already fully booked.
Yeah.
So if you like to do this program for yourself, to conceptualize, to sketch, to narrate, and then to tell your story in a public event, you can join our May program.
Yeah.
It's every Tuesday in that month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all for this time.
All right.
All right.
Okay,
bye.
bye.
See you guys.
See you.